Chanel, are you okay? Lawsuits everywhere. Such a mess. 2023 ended on a weird note. 2024 is even more messy. Let's talk about it. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome to the Fashion Bunker. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. Super Dacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week. Come join the fun. Come join the live chats. Subscribe. Thumb up the video. All right. So there's several reports, all kind of like blasting right after New Year's Eve. It's like bam, bam, bam. They're trickling through. I'm like, really? Does this thing ever end with Chanel suing everything and everybody in their way? It's like insane. So here we have from the Court of Appeal of Rennes. This issue started in 2020. You know how these like lawsuits, they take years and years and years. I mean, if you settle out of court, you could end them relatively quickly. But if you don't, it goes on and on and on. It's like ping pong, like ping pong, ping pong. And then like, you know, then one wins a part of the lawsuit, then they appeal, then they got to go back. So basically, from the Court of Appeal of Rennes in February 2020, and an appeal by French retailer Ouest SCS, which does business as Easy Cash. In its decision, the Court of Cassation in France held that Ouest and its principal, an individual identified as Mr. N, infringed Chanel's trademarks by offering up samples bearing those marks without Chanel's authorization. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. So basically what's happening with this lawsuit is that, and this is very bizarre, Chanel is literally suing a retailer for selling their samples. And again, if they win, this will set precedent. So Chanel can technically come after you for, let's say, selling your freebies that you got from Chanel, your samples or freebies on, let's say, a secondhand platform of your choice. And why are they suing? So basically, Chanel says that they're infringing the trademark by offering up samples bearing those marks without Chanel's authorization. I'm like, but you don't have to authorize. If you've gifted me a freaking sample, I can do with it what I want. I think their issue was that these people, like this business was allegedly selling samples professionally, like in huge quantities. I don't know. Additionally, the Court of Cassation determined that Ouest ran afoul. Well, where is it? Of the law by offering up the Chanel products without their original packaging. Now, what are we talking about here? I mean, do I have a sample here somewhere, like, that I can show you? Probably here I do. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Here I have a Chanel sample of their Les Exclusives body cream. The original size is 150 ml. It's like it's a big jar, but they give you a sample for free, 6 grams. So 150 gram is the big one, the one you buy, and the little sample, it is a 6 gram version. Also comes in a little paper box like the OG, like the big version, and then it comes in a little glass jar like this. So what are they talking about when they talk about original packaging? Are they saying that they're selling the sample like this without this? Because also these come in a box, like, I don't know, maybe there's like 8 of these or 10 of these or 5 of these. They all come in one box and you take them out and you gift them. So does Chanel want you to sell these in this and then this box in a set of 10? I don't understand. Why do they have a problem with it not being originally packed? And I mean, these are samples, but what about freebies that are not creams or perfumes or makeup? Like little pins or little knickknacks, little ribbons, you know, little extra freebies like that that are not cosmetic products that might expire, you know what I mean? That might be hazardous to your health, hence damaging the image of Chanel if the wrong person were to sell them. Like that I would kind of understand, but anyway. So in its appeal, Oest made a number of pleas, namely that the Court of Appeal erred in determining that 1. Oest infringed Chanel's trademarks by reselling the Chanel samples. 2. They appeal that Oest's sales of the Chanel products without their original packaging constitutes an alteration of the condition of these products. So Chanel says, yeah, you've altered the original condition of these products, so hence we're suing you. You can't sell them. Girl, really? And 3, Oest incurred tort liability by reselling Chanel brand products under parasitic conditions. If really Chanel were to win on all accounts, that sets precedent. At least in Europe, since this is apparently happening in France. So then they could, what's next? Oh, sorry, Mr. Reseller. You got your sample and your freebie at the Chanel Beauty Boutique of perfumes, and you got a camellia. Here. This was a freebie. It comes on their little shopping bag. It's a sticker. Oh, you're selling this, but you're selling it outside of the set of all the stickers stuck to one sheet. So no, you're selling these two like this, and they're like, yeah, no. No, you're not allowed to. Really? This is some serious weird stuff. And the second lawsuit that's also happening right now, as reported by QZ.com, the trial for Chanel's Showdown with resale platform, what goes around comes around. Thumb up this video, you guys, if you're enjoying it, and subscribe. This lawsuit is interesting. They state that it's another example of the fashion industry's complex embrace of the secondhand market. And here's the plot twist. And I've been telling you, these brands, they start suing when they start thinking that they're losing money. In this particular lawsuit, it would appear to me, and like I said before, and I must say it again, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. The issue here is that, again, I feel like Chanel has upped their prices so much and they're not selling as much as they used to. So, in times of full-blown earning money, sales, prolific sales, in a time where you have fertile sales going on, brands are not so aggressive towards each other or towards any other form of income that somebody else might generate through reselling of certain brands. But it's usually when times start getting rough that brands try to do everything possible to maximize their own profits. So maybe Chanel isn't doing that well after all. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. But here's the issue with what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around is a reseller of used Chanel products. Now, pre-loved Chanel products. In some instances, as this article says, what goes around comes around apparently also has some physical shops, and some of them are really close to, let's say, a Chanel boutique. So now Chanel is at a place where they don't want competition from a pre-loved store by, let's say, saying, well, the double flap is like $10,000 at the Chanel boutique, and what goes around comes around allegedly would sell it the same double flap for $7,000, meaning, or $6,000, meaning you can spend $3,000 to $4,000 less as a customer if you purchase the bag in the pre-loved store as opposed to Chanel. So Chanel now apparently is having an issue, and this is why they're suing them, which is insane, which is really insane. They're saying, well, we have a problem with the fact that the pre-loved market bag prices, or any other Chanel price for that matter, are too low. You can't make this shit up. Too low as opposed to our prices in the boutique. So they're having an issue that the pre-loved market is their competitor because they've outpriced themselves out of the ballpark. Secondhand stores cannot sell for those prices because nobody's buying for those prices. So they go down with their prices. And now Chanel is saying, well, hold on a minute. You cannot ruin our image by selling the bags way too low. I'm like, Chanel, you don't owe me. You don't own me. Pardon me. You do not own me. You cannot dictate what supply demand is on the secondhand market. But of course, they're not attacking them directly by saying, yeah, your prices are too low. No, they are attacking them by saying you're selling too much of our stuff and it's not legit because you are selling some pieces that we deem sketchy. They might not be authentic. What goes around comes around says they have specialized people dedicated to authenticating all these products and that they are legit. What goes around comes around keeps claiming that the pre-loved items that they're selling are authentic. Chanel is counterclaiming, saying, you cannot know that for certain. Only we can because we are the brand. You and your authenticators cannot possibly authenticate at 100% certainty. So, you are damaging our image. And I've been telling you this for months now, right? I would never trust a third-party authenticator to begin with, ever, personally. That's just my personal, humble opinion. But it's interesting how Chanel is now using this to prove their point in court by saying, you know, if too many people believe that what these pre-loved markets are selling is authentic, but then it ends up not being authentic, that's going to tarnish our own image. And they're saying, let's say that the bag that they're selling is not authentic, but they're selling it for $6,000 or $7,000. Well, that's way too high a price for a non-authentic bag. If the bag is a dupe and a replica, then this store's profit margins are much higher than ours. Because, as they state, their production costs at Chanel are higher. So the difference between the landing cost price within a Chanel boutique of a certain given product, the difference between the landing cost price and the retail price is smaller than the difference between what Chanel is claiming allegedly, that allegedly some of the bags that what goes around comes around are selling are fake. If they were fake, then the production cost would be so low that if you add up the production costs of a fake bag, but you sell that bag as if it were authentic pre-loved, so you sell it for $6,000, let's say, but you bought it as a fake for like $100, they're like, well, the profit margins there are just way too high, much higher than our profit margins. It's insane. It's insane. And they say, like, this isn't just a trial about selling an old blouse or wallet you're ready to part ways with. At issue is what happens when a business gets built around selling a whole bunch of old blouses and wallets. When it happens at scale, websites, storefronts, etc., the reseller begins to look like a competitor for Chanel, instead of a way for Chanel customers to make a little extra money. Because to someone walking down Wooster Street in New York's Soho neighborhood, they can either go to Chanel on one end, buy the bag for $10K, or cross the street and pay $6,500 by entering directly in what goes around comes around. Interesting. What goes around comes around also claims that it really researches its authentication process, They also purchase a lot of fakes so that they can keep up with how the fakes are built so that they can compare them to the authentics, to always be up to date with what the newest techniques are and technologies are for the fakes. And they also say they're looking always for hints and clues in bags to see if they are authentic or not, which these little hints and clues have become sophisticated enough to include serial numbers and QR codes, but also fake bags have them. Quote, we conduct an extremely detailed research about the counterfeit market and collect data on exactly how they are made to compare to authentic pieces. Our authenticators are trained on exactly what details to look for that indicate an item may be counterfeit. In its lawsuit, Chanel has alleged that those practices aren't airtight and fake bags are getting through anyway. But what goes around comes around has been denying those claims. And the biggest question that arises here out of the article and also in the lawsuit is, can we trust the authentication practices that go on? Is this a real problem, or is this just one or two things that slip through? You're not going by 60% of the value of a real purse for a fake purse. So what is the real issue at hand here? Because, I mean, are we going to go after the entire pre-loved market? What sort of monopoly do you want to have over these goods? We're moving in really dangerous territory where things become illegal at a certain point. I mean, unless you don't set precedent and then you say, well, look, the judge ruled in my favor here, so now I'm also going to come after. Let's say one day I wake up and I'm sick and tired of all of this. I'm sick and tired of all of this one day, hypothesizing only. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to sell my entire Chanel collection online. That's a pretty big, substantial collection. If I were to at once sell my entire Chanel collection online, we would have a problem, because then Chanel would see like, oh my God, you got hundreds of pieces. You're selling hundreds of Chanel pieces. So you're doing this professionally, because you're not just selling one or two, you're selling hundreds of them. And then what am I going to, then they're going to sue me. And they're going to say, no, this is all the stuff I have. I've been buying your shit for years now, for decades. And I'm sick and tired of your attitude. And I don't want this shit anymore. I want to sell it off. Leave me alone. No, you can't. We've set precedent with that other company. I'm like, I'm not a company. I'm a private citizen selling my shit. But you're selling too many pieces. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like, let's say, what if it did happen? It gives me a terrible feeling, like buying their stuff and thinking I'm not allowed to, they're already making issues when they give you a freebie. They tell me, Dacob, please don't post it online. It's not well seen within the company, influencers posting the freebies. I'm like, so I'm not even allowed to post it on, I'm not allowed to wear the shit I buy from you. Like, I feel guilty just by taking a picture of their products, let alone reselling them, which I never do, by the way, just FYI. But imagine, they make me feel guilty and bad for literally just posting a freaking pouch that they gave me in the beauty boutique. They're like, please don't take a photo of it. I mean, come on. Obsessive much? Control freaks much? Girl, as Elsa would say, let it go. Let it go. At a certain point, like, you're not making it pleasant anymore to even buy your stuff, because like wearing it, just wearing your stuff, even the stuff that I paid for, not a freebie, I feel like every time I feel like, oh, I don't know, should I put it on and take a photo with this now? Or is it like, am I going to get in trouble? And their stuff is also so expensive that like you also feel uncomfortable wearing their bags, because like you think it's just so in poor taste, vulgar to wear these $10,000 bags on and about, like in this economy. to show off that double C logo on a bag, I find that in poor taste. So there's that. And then the stuff that, you know, I like to wear, like sweaters. Here I just got this sweater from them. Love it to bits, right? It looks like a handmade sweater, like super simple. It's not like, doesn't scream Chanel, you know what I mean? It's not like it has double C logos all over it. But I'm thinking to myself, well, am I allowed to wear this? I don't know. Just really, Chanel, you gotta tone it down. Just my humble opinion. My tip from me to you, because like what you're doing right now, it just makes everything so heavy. You know, there's no like pleasure of enjoying the pieces anymore. Everything has become a burden. Everything has become cramped, guilt, ugh, flagellation. You know, I always feel like I'm being whipped. Like, no, how dare you? How dare you take a photo of the piece that you bought with your money? Like, what the hell? You know, they also in cahoots, I have the feeling, with Instagram. You know, try using Chanel, hashtag Chanel on Instagram. See how quickly your posts will be taken down for, you know, infringing copyright law just for using a freaking hashtag. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes, because they've deleted my posts for just using the hash by accident using it. I've learned my lesson. I never use the hashtag Chanel anymore on Instagram because they're fucking, I meant, sorry, bleep, queens. They're cuckoo. This is insane. Anyway, love you loads. Until next time, let me know your thoughts and prayers down below. You know, subscribe, thumb up the video. Love you loads. Bye. Never give up on love.